The value of patience. Once upon a time, in a vibrant green forest filled with chirping birds, rustling leaves, and a sparkling river, there lived a community of animals who often gathered to share stories, play games, and learn life lessons. Among these animals were two very famous neighbors, a speedy hare and a slow-moving tortoise. Both were known for their contrasting personalities. The hare, always full of energy, loved to show off his speed, while the tortoise, calm and patient, preferred to take life at a slower pace. One sunny morning, as the animals gathered by the riverbank for their usual chatter, the hare decided it was time to remind everyone of his superior speed. He hopped onto a large rock and called out loudly, "Listen, everyone. I am the fastest creature in this forest. No one can outrun me, and that's a fact." Some animals nodded, knowing the hare's boast was likely true, but others grew tired of his constant bragging. Among them was the tortoise. He slowly raised his head and spoke in a measured tone. "Hare, you may be fast, but speed isn't everything. Sometimes patience and persistence are what truly matter." The hare burst into laughter, his voice echoing through the forest. "You? Teaching me about success? You can barely take 10 steps without stopping to rest. Let's face it, tortoise, you're too slow to understand what it takes to win." The tortoise, unaffected by the mockery, stood his ground. "Why don't we test your theory? Let's have a race." The hare's ears perked up in excitement. He saw this as an opportunity to humiliate the tortoise in front of everyone. "A race? Against you? This is going to be the easiest victory of my life." The other animals buzzed with excitement as they decided on a course for the race. It would begin at the big oak tree and end at the edge of the riverbank, a path winding through dense forest, over hills, and across open fields. The date was set for the next morning, and the news spread quickly. Everyone wanted to witness the hare and the tortoise compete. The race begins. When the morning sun painted the forest in shades of gold, animals of all kinds gathered to watch. Birds perched on tree branches, squirrels scampered up the tallest trees for the best view, and even the river's fish popped their heads above the surface, curious to see the spectacle. The hare stretched his legs and winked at the crowd. "Ready to lose, tortoise?" he teased. The tortoise simply smiled, calm and composed. "Let's begin," he said. With a loud cheer from the crowd, the race started. The hare shot forward like an arrow, his powerful legs carrying him far ahead in seconds. The tortoise, meanwhile, took his first step, slow and steady. He focused on the path ahead, paying no attention to the cheers or jeers around him. Within minutes, the hare was so far ahead that the tortoise was nothing more than a speck in the distance. Confident in his lead, the hare decided there was no need to rush. "Why tire myself out?" he thought. "The tortoise will take forever to catch up." He looked around and spotted a shady tree. "A quick nap won't hurt," he said, yawning. He lay down under the tree, his ears twitching as the forest sounds lulled him to sleep. The tortoise's steady journey. Meanwhile, the tortoise continued his journey. Step by step, he moved forward. His legs ached, and the path was challenging, but he never stopped. He remembered his own words about patience and persistence. "It's not about speed," he whispered to himself. "It's about moving forward, no matter what." Along the way, he encountered obstacles. A fallen log blocked his path, and a stream of water cut across the trail. But the tortoise stayed calm. He carefully climbed over the log and found a shallow spot to cross the stream. The other animals, watching from afar, began to cheer for him. They admired his determination and focus. "Look at him go," said a squirrel. "He may be slow, but he doesn't give up." The tortoise's steady progress inspired the crowd. They began to question whether speed alone was enough to win. A lesson in overconfidence. Hours passed, and the sun moved higher in the sky. The hare, still asleep under the tree, suddenly woke up with a start. He stretched and glanced back at the trail. "Time to finish this race and claim my victory," he thought, smirking. He bounded forward with ease, confident he could overtake the tortoise in seconds. But as he neared the finish line, his eyes widened in shock. The tortoise was already there, just a few steps away from crossing it. The crowd roared with excitement as the tortoise took his final steps and crossed the finish line, winning the race. The hare skidded to a halt, disbelief written all over his face. How did you do that?" he stammered. The tortoise, breathing heavily but smiling, replied, "Patience and persistence, hare. While you were sleeping, I kept going. Slow and steady wins the race. The forest learns a lesson. The animals erupted in applause, celebrating the tortoise's victory. The hare hung his head, realizing his overconfidence and lack of effort had cost him the race. From that day forward, the hare learned to value persistence and to respect others, regardless of their speed or abilities. The tortoise became a symbol of determination for the forest animals. Whenever someone faced a tough challenge, they would remember his words. It's not about how fast you start, it's about how determined you are to finish. The moral of the story. The tale of the tortoise and the hare reminds us all that patience and persistence can lead to success, even when the odds seem against us. It teaches us to stay focused on our goals and not to underestimate others based on their pace. In life, it's not always the fastest who wins, but those who refuse to give up. And so, the forest thrived, with its animals cherishing the lesson of patience and perseverance, taught by the humble tortoise who proved that true strength lies in never giving up.